There we go.
All right. Welcome to the fourth meeting of our 60s music discussion group. And what we're doing is revisiting the music of the 60s, which was a glorious era of music composition. It was such creativity and such songcraft and such uh, uh, a flowering of great music and innovation and social commentary, all rolled up at one. And today, while there are still social commentary and stuff, but they're in the underground clubs, you're not hearing that on the radio today. And young people are not being exposed to the song guidelines of how to keep an audience entertained for 3 minutes, uh, like we had to learn back in the day. Anyway, this is going to be dedicated to the best artists and the best songs of the 60s. And we've had three meetings about the Beatles, and today we're going to start with uh, the Rolling Stones. We'll have two or three meetings, and just amazing songs, amazing work. So, what I want to do first, uh, we have our regular people who have been here for before. We also have a few new people. So, what I would like to do, and we got to keep this a little shorter than we have in the past because we only had 4 or 5 people. So we could do a 5 minute introduction. But if all of us did a 5 minute introduction, we wouldn't have any time to listen to any songs. So we'll reserve for our new people, that's Elizabeth and Susan. Uh, you guys get to have the longer intro, and the rest of us, we get the elevator speech. Okay. That was always told when you're selling songs. You have to have your elevator speech because if you meet someone in the elevator in 30 seconds, you have to tell them. Elizabeth is shaking her head. She knows what that's all about. She's a good marketer. Uh, so, okay. Well, Liz, do you want to start?
I'll
Uh,
start. I'll start with my most impressive. I graduated Juilliard. Blah blah blah. Brag brag brag. Bachelor's, master's in voice and piano, vocal, secondary piano. I was in the 70s. I lived in New York. I was a vocal coach to Broadway people. I also had a songwriting contract with MCA Music, where my as a singer songwriter. I recently had a staged reading of a musical that I wrote in the 70s. I live in Chicago. The staged reading was at a city lip theater in Chicago, 18 songs. And I was also Miss Senior America in 2012. Um, I've been a singer, a dancer, actress in New York. I did many musicals and I did many operas as well. And I've been to about 11 countries, 56 cities, teaching my method called the Vocal Power Method, voice teacher. And I can't think of anything else.
oh,
And,
there's a lot
and
more.
I'm married to this wonderful man. 3 years, 3 years,
I
we found each other.
I am none of those things. The only thing that I'm close to as far as the music business is concerned is that this reading that you just mentioned, I was the executive producer.
All right.
Yeah.
You're a good team. You're
But you said you did shows and
Oh yeah, I did some shows when I was in summer camp and when I was a senior in high school and that sort of stuff. I was a lawyer for 40 years and I made a decent living at it and we get to we don't have any kids, so we get to spend our own money and have fun.
go to a lot of shows. He's got an ear like I've never heard. He can be in another room and hear somebody narrating a film and say who it is. And I'll never have heard of the person. He'll hear the first measures of last night. What you said, that was Symphony Fantastique or something?
Yeah.
He heard down I would say 4 measures. Oh, that's Symphony Fantastique. If he hears something once, he's
You know, at the
gonna-
beginning, da, 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 you know.
Name that tune, classical.
Right,
He's got a
right.
great ear, and we always have the same opinion when we see a musical. We look at each other and say, I don't understand the standing ovation. Or we'll be standing, everybody's sitting, and we don't they don't understand. I'm speaking for him because he doesn't say enough about it. He's a good talker. He can talk, I'll tell you, on any subject, history, you name it. This guy has an
Well,
encyclopedic
let's get the
head.
class going, okay?
Class.
Let's
All right,
go.
that's it.
They're in good company because half of us have had experience with music, and the other half love music and have a great sense of it, but are not trained. And we need both types of opinions here because those of us who make the music, that's well and good, but we need the audience, we need the fans to also get their perspective. So everybody's input is very welcome here. So thank you guys.
In my youth, I was a master of the record player.
Yeah, right.
45s, 33s, 78s.
Instead of a PhD, you have an LP, right?
No, more like a master's.
Masters of LP. Okay. All right. Let's see. Who else is new we haven't heard from? And then we will go through the regular crowd here to do just a elevator speech. Susan used to study with me at UCLA, and I've known her for many, many years. And welcome, Susan. Would you like to do a thumbnail of your background with an interest in music? Oh, that's the one thing I forgot with Elizabeth and Jerry. Real quickly, name an artist and a song from the 60s that you think is excellent.
Well, we were talking about, social consciousness. There was a group, Buffalo Springfield,
Sure.
which was very, very political. What was it? Hey, Phil, what that sound? Everybody knows it's going round. They were playing that constantly, through the 68 Democratic Convention. And I mean, they were very, very political.
And Elizabeth.
Well, the Beatles.
Oh, never heard of them.
Not my. They are. Are they in the 60s? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No,
They changed the.
It started in the 60s.
One of my favorite songs ever is the song "Something."
Wow.
Yeah.
And Long and Winding Road.
Yeah.
But something in the way he moves, she moves. I love that song.
Paul McCartney has been called the Mozart of the 20th century. He wrote the most amazing melodies.
Imagine. I love that.
And well, that's John Lennon. But they wrote incredible songs, and they were well structured. And you mention it, and all of us can already hear the song in our mind. And that's what we are so much missing today. Yes, yeah. Okay, now Susan, sorry, your turn. Tell us a little bit about your background or your favorite music from the 60s. Are you there, Susan?
Yeah, I'm just getting my phone set up. I had my phone stolen last week, so I'm just getting everything organized, and I'm just coming back from swimming at the Rose Bowl, so I'm going to be off camera. But can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. So I have nothing like the background of either Liz or your lovely friend, but I am a fan of music and a great fan of Cats. And we spent a wonderful couple of years together in his blues workshop for me. I was his student and getting back to playing the keyboards. I grew up with classical music, and I really only discovered pop music after I started to college. But I played the piano and the flute and loved that style of music, classical music, long ago. In the 60s, I would say, so I'm not going to go, I don't have any other credentials per se, except that I love music and I've listened for years and years. I'm an LPer. But I would say one of my favorite 60s love songs is the Righteous Brothers' Unchained Melody. So
Yeah,
I wanted to
good
offer
song.
that.
Melody, sure.
And I shall check out, but I'm really thrilled to be here. Took some effort with my phone to get Zoom loaded, but glad to arrive.
Well, we're really glad that you're here, and I look forward to see many of you I used to hang out with, and ever since I moved to the desert, it's been it's sort of a coming home party here for some of us. Okay, let's see who else. Harry, would you like to introduce yourself, your background, and your favorite 60s?
Can you hear me? I don't
Yes,
know.
quite well.
Okay, good. All right. My background is that when my family went for singing lessons when I was a young boy, we were told by the singing teacher never to darken his doorstep again, and that we were impossibly out of tune, out of pitch, out of everything. I was also kicked out of choir in grammar school because I couldn't sing. And but that does not stop me from loving music, lots of different kinds of music, having listened to music for years, having collected thousands of records, CDs, and now streaming services. I do, and I just found out something really strange today, talking to my friend ChatGPT. Okay, I don't know that it's my friend, but it's an AI.
Yeah.
And I was talking about aphantasia. I don't know if all of you know about aphantasia, but it's the inability to bring images to your mind. And like when people say, recognize, think of an apple, some people can actually see an apple. Some people can see the color. Some people see different types, imagine different things. Anyway, it turns out I have aphantasia anyway, so that means I can't visualize anything in my mind. But I found out that not only do I have aphantasia, but I have a further condition that also does not allow me to visualize or to sense, to bring up smells or music or touch. And I do not know how that is in the general population. And as far as music is concerned, sometimes I can sing to myself with my inner voice, but I can't hear Paul McCartney or the Rolling Stones or music by itself. And I love music. And as far as a favorite song, I have millions, but today, for some reason, Painted Black by the Rolling Stones comes to mind.
Sure. I didn't get a copy of that for today, but it was one of the ones I auditioned. I listened to the whole catalog of the Stones on the past, and Paint of Black did stand out.
Can't Get No Satisfaction's also good.
Oh yes, and that's our first song for course. So good. We're so glad to have you here. Now, let's talk about going back in time. Harry and I, when I was about 10 or 12 years old, 13 years old, he lived about a mile and a half away from me. I used to ride my bike to his house. So we're talking about here we must know each other for almost 70 years, 60 odd years.
Yes, definitely.
And he's a professional, has been a professional photographer, an amazing photographer. Very, very interesting, dynamic.
And I still remember you playing Rhapsody in Blue for me on the piano when we were children. It was just amazing to me that everybody was so talented at the young age that you were.
I was very much into Gershwin. I didn't play the whole Rhapsody in Blue, but I did an excerpt. Okay, and Steve, you're joining us. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your background? Again, just 2 or 3 minutes, and at most, and then your favorite music from the 60s. Oh, but no, I'm sorry, that's not Steve. Bill.
Yeah.
All right, Bill and I also go back a long ways too. God.
Yes, indeed. High school.
So good to see you, Bill. So,
Yeah.
in fact, Bill was the person who introduced me to blues, and he introduced me to Bo Diddley.
That is absolutely right. I remember that.
And that's how I got my first record. So you should have got
Yeah.
% of the royalties, which would have been a few dollars, because I hardly got any money at all anyway. Okay, tell us about your background, Bill, and your favorite person from
I like music. I like to sing. Well, I sing in a choir. I'm not that keen on singing solo. And I got into singing by accident. My wife couldn't sing. She was told, since kindergarten, just mouth the words. And something like 20 years ago, she got really annoyed by that memory, and she took a workshop for people who can't sing. And she learned to sing enough that she said she joined a choir. A couple of years later, a community choir. That choir quit because the director moved. And so she wanted a different choir, and she asked me to come with her because she figured they might not want her, but they'd want me, so they'd take us both. And that's when I rediscovered how much I like singing in a choir. So I've been doing that for about the last 20 years, and it's folk music from all around the world. I'm not quite sure what qualifies as 60s music here. I know in my mind what I call 60 music, but I guess when I think of 60 music, I think of, Bo Diddley, whom you mentioned. I think of Chuck Berry, some of my favorite songs, but I also think of Bob Dylan, and I think maybe the most exciting one he did was that, what did they call it? Bringing it all back, Subterranean Homesick Blues. That's what it was. It's like, oh my God, that changed the whole dynamic of folk music versus rock and pop, and it changed things a lot.
We'll be getting to Dylan, definitely. We're going to spend 2 or 3 weeks on each of the featured people of the 60s, and Dylan certainly was a trailblazer, taking folk music, and then he changed everything to rock, and changed both rock and folk at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I guess he brought some country music in too.
Sure. And it all blends together. the thing is, and why we're doing the 60s is that all these people wrote incredibly well-crafted songs, memorable songs, with something to say in a way that it was accessible, that the listener could get it and retain it and want to hear it over and over again. Where today it's all ambiance and groove and sonority sounds, great electronic sounds, but it's not in a way that you can retain it. That you can walk down the street and hum it. You can't hum a synthesizer. I'm sorry. I haven't learned to do that yet. Maybe I need electronics while I walk. Okay, now, just real quickly, the elevator speech from our previous people. So, Gail, why don't you start with
Okay. I've been singing and writing since coming out of the womb. And most of my early background was choral and classical and folk music. I started learning different instruments, starting with the cello when I was about 11, and went on to be a singer-songwriter and perform in operas, big bands, R&B, rock and roll. Basically, if you paid me for it, I did it. And wrote or co-wrote 4 musical theater pieces that were produced. I went on to travel around the world as a musician and ended up back in LA doing music supervision for film and TV. I became kind of a semi-expert of on music licensing for film and TV. Have helped a lot of other artists get their music into film and TV, and continue to do that. I mentor some students. I've taught voice over the years, and just continue as a writer, and am currently in pre-production for a blues album.
Yeah, you wear a lot of hats, that's for sure.
Out of necessity.
Okay, what other song? The first song that you mentioned when you the first time was Eleanor Rigby. What's
That's
a song that really stands out from the 60s?
That is the one that knocks me over every time.
Okay, well, thank you, Gail. Nancy, would you like to give your elevator speech?
I am a singer-songwriter currently, still after all these years, and I live in Michigan. I was born and raised in Detroit. I went to California, spent 40-something years there, and I decided to move back to my roots. Here I perform live, doing singer-songwriter work, and I moved to California because I was told that's where all the songwriters were at, and I wanted to do that. And I learned that I wanted to do that when Carole King came out. And prior to that, when the Beatles came out, that knocked my socks off because I played drums. So that's 60s. And Ringo was my favorite drummer, and Ludwig drums are my favorite drummers to this day. And the reason I signed up here is because the 60s, actually all music interests me, especially when there's structure, when they're singable, when more important for me is when it brings up memories of my own when I'm listening to them. So it's like I can listen to Joni Mitchell and have that occur. But the bottom line is, since David was going to have this particular program, I thought, this might give me an opportunity to hear what other people, not me, other people have to say about their experiences with the 60s music, because to this very day, I'm attracted to all of it because of the structure, and because there's lastly, when I do play live and people ask about if I play certain songs, it's very interesting that they want to hear the classics. And they come out of the 60s, some of those classics, like Jerry, I think it's Jerry was mentioning Buffalo Springfield. But the Youngbloods is the one who wrote that Get Together song. And I get a lot of requests for that. And music has a way of coming back full circle, and we're kind of back there now, like where some of those songs are like protest or this type of thing. It's all coming back. And why does everybody want to hear it again? There's something about it that they connect with. So I'm just curious what everyone else's experiences are, and if they feel that yes, music does come full circle, and if one of the most important things coming out of the 60s happens to be that it's the melodies are so memorable and then make you think about memories or experiences of your own while you listen to those songs. That's all.
All right. Thank you, Nancy. Really appreciate that.
David, can I say one more thing, please?
Please, of course.
Any teacher who tells somebody you can't sing, mouth the words, don't darken my doorstep, should never be allowed near a student again, ever.
Yep.
Malvina Reynolds taught me the greatest lesson about music teaching by having a young boy in the choir who was the loudest and the most wonderful, joyous presence, but hardly could stick with the melody. A couple of years later, when they came back with that choir, he had a golden voice and still had the spark and still had everything because she let him find his voice.
Mm-hmm.
And no teacher should be saying that to any child, any adult, because the music is inherent in all of us. You just need, as a teacher, to find it and bring it out.
Great, Gail, you just reminded me of something, and this goes back to Liz. Do you remember Tracy Lords? Elizabeth sent me Tracy Lords because she was teaching. Tracy Lords, she used to be a horn queen who became an actress and actually wound up having a couple albums of her own material. She couldn't sing. Liz sent her to me, and I gave her ear training. And anybody can sing if they're motivated and they have the right instruction. And never say never.
She started with me the first lesson. She said, I can't sing in front of you. Can you go in the other room?
Huh.
I had to go in my bedroom and listen to her from, just to hear a few measures of her singing. But I want to bring up, I had an actor, a student in California, one of my first students, and he called me up. He said, I finally have enough money to take voice lessons. I was told I can't sing, I can't carry a tune. So I worked with him about 6 months to get him to be able to carry a tune and actually sing a whole song. He went to an audition, came to a lesson having been to an acting audition for a friend of his who was directing a film. And he came in distressed. He just had, he said, I'm afraid I embarrassed my friend. I did such a bad job. I said, well, let's sing. Maybe you'll feel better. Do you know that he couldn't sing in tune? He reverted right back to the beginning. It took me an hour to get him back singing in tune. So my point here is that singing has a lot to do with confidence.
Oh.
And if somebody tells you, a child, not to just mouth the words, it doesn't only affect their singing, it affects their confidence the rest of their lives.
Oh, okay. I have to keep us on track because we'll have no time. It's wonderful. You all have this wonderful input, but we do have to get to the Stones, and they're waiting. They have to go back to the airport, so you better get them to perform. Okay, real quick, Liz, your mini elevator speech.
You're muted, Liz.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Very
I was muted because my rooster was crowing in my window. No, I'm just, I was a school teacher for 31 years and I totally agree with your opinion of school teachers. But no, I'm just appreciate the stuff. And so amazing to be in this group with such amazing talent and background.
And you give us a 60s song that you like.
I was more a Led Zeppelin girl more than anything, but you know what? I really liked Sly and the Family Stone.
Okay. Yeah, they were 60s, 70s. They probably started in the 60s.
Well, I was born in 58. I'm just a little young.
Okay. Actually, I worked with the manager of Sly and the Family Stone. Yeah, he taught me. His name David Kaperlak, and he taught me a lot about hit songs and what a record company looks for in a singer. I was lucky to be schooled by a lot of different people. But anyway, let's get to. I think we have finished our introductions. Okay, I want to get to the first song of the day, and is to me the song that really encapsulated the Stones, that really made them very successful, and it was already mentioned here by a couple of people today. So we're going to listen to it. We'll listen to about 2 minutes of it. And then everybody, you can say, why was it such a hit? Why did it, and why 60 years later we find it still just as valuable?